Okay, it's 11 o'clock. We still have some people joining us, but we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining today, first and foremost. We will be recording today's presentation. So afterwards, once the recording is done processing, we'll make sure to get you a copy of that. Also, if you do have questions throughout the presentation today, we're going to have some time at the end for a Q&A session. At the bottom of your Zoom screen, there is a Q&A box where you can type in your question. We'll try to reply to those as much as we can at the end. If for some reason we don't get to your question or we don't have the answer for you, that Q&A box will indicate to me that you asked the question, and I'll make sure somebody follows up with you afterwards. We have Hamza here from Velixo, and I want to thank him for joining us today. And he's going to show us this awesome product presentation and why Velixo is the most popular reporting tool for Acumatica. So take it away. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen, for the intro, and thanks everybody for joining us for today's session. For today's presentation, I'm going to start first thing by giving you a brief presentation of Velixo. Right after that, I'm going to give you a demo of the tool. I'll show you basically how the whole thing works, and we'll make sure to answer your questions towards the end of the session. Feel free to input your questions in the Q&A section while I'm moving with the presentation. I'll make sure to remind you after every single feature that I present to input your questions in the Q&A. With that being said, let's get started. So what is Velixo? So basically, Velixo is simply an Excel add-in that is going to close the gap between your ERP and your spreadsheet. To make it simpler, it is going to allow you to extract all the data that you have in your ERP. Could be financials, if you guys are working with project accounting, also any other generic inquiry you have in Acumatica. Put it all into Excel. You can combine them into one single sheet based on your needs. You can do your magic on it, and once it's done, you can seamlessly push it back to your ERP. For the little story, we were founded in 2017 by Gabriel Michaud right here on the picture. He's actually an ex-Acumatica leader who saw the opportunity to build Velixo as an Excel add-in as he witnessed that users kept going back to Excel for their reporting needs. So fast forward a couple of years, we were awarded top application in the Acumatica ecosystem. We were awarded users most likely to recommend by G2. And we serve 2,000 plus customers and work with over 200 VARs globally, thanks to a distributed team, as you can see here on the map. So what is the problem that we solve? Basically, we solve the problem with manual spreadsheet. And the problem with manual spreadsheet resolves to a few issues. First of all, it's a completely disconnected experience, and the data becomes obsolete the second you export it, cannot be trusted anymore. For this reason, it becomes repetitive and time-consuming to produce reports. And not only that, it's also incredibly error-prone. Governance issues can happen, and it can get challenging to manage document access and security for your whole team. And on top of that, changes made to the data in Excel would only be transferable to your ERP by manually entering it, which is highly inefficient. So how do we solve this problem? We've got Velixo for you guys. It's an Excel add-in that can be up to speed in minutes. It offers real-time reporting capabilities. And on top of that, it comes with templates to get you started. It allows you to write the data back to Acumatica for scenarios like budgeting, forecasting, automation of business processes, to the general ledger project management, pretty much any other module we have in Acumatica. It's fully self-service. It won't require much training to master it, thanks to its Excel-like functions. It lets you connect to Velixo with your Acumatica credentials, so we kind of mirror the level of security you have in Acumatica, no governance issues. Users would only ever see the data that they're allowed to see. And lastly, it's Excel. So you guys benefit from the whole Microsoft 365 experience for better collaboration and better packaging in general. So here's a little slide of our some of our happy customers. As you can see, we're industry agnostic, meaning we can be used in various industries. And actually, for the little story, KFC was actually our first real use case. With that being said, let's jump into the demo. So I am going to stop sharing my slideshow here. And first thing I'll show you is how to download Velixo. So to get the application, simply type on your search bar, download Velixo. Pick that first link that populates. It is going to redirect to our own website. And on this page, you will have the choice between two different versions. You either go with the insider channel or the annual channel. It's literally going to be the same Velixo. The only difference is that this one will be updated several times per year automatically, while the annual channel will be updated once to twice manually. We keep you, of course, posted with bug fixes, new features through our newsletter. So you choose the version you want to go with and press on the language to have the driver install here on the side. So it takes a couple of seconds for the driver to install. Once it's ready, I can simply click on it to execute it. I'm not going to do it for this example as I already have it installed in my computer, but I'm pretty sure you all know what it looks like. It's same as installing any other application in your computer. Once it's ready, I can go ahead and open Excel. Okay, and you will notice that this is the normal Excel. Nothing has changed, except if you look up top right here, you will notice in the ribbon this new little tab called Velixo. Okay, if I click on it, you will notice that we've added multiple Velixo features and functions to Excel, such as, for example, the refresh button. This will refresh, basically, the smart refresh will refresh the cells and the values that have been altered in your ERP. The full refresh will refresh your whole workbook. The connection manager, this is what we're going to use this in a second. Basically, this is what is going to set up the connection between your ERP and the spreadsheet. I'm also going to tell you about the drill down feature. This is going to allow you basically to click on any given cell on any given sheet and go back to that source transaction in Acumatica. Could be done on financials, generate inquiries, pretty much everything. And basically, next I'm going to present to you the distribution feature. This is a solid one. You will be able to basically save and share your reports from a single template. And lastly, I'm going to tell you about the write back. So there are 4 different types of write backs. I'm going to walk you through every single one of them. Before we move forward with the connection, today's demo is going to be a relatively simple demo. We'll start by building something relatively simple. And if you guys want to review something specific to requirements, we'll be more than happy to connect with you and set up an additional call to go over it. So before we move forward with, for example, trying to build a report, I want to present to you the sample reports that are available to you. So this is a sample pack that has, for example, a general P&L. It has a consolidated one showcasing, for example, branches side by side. It has a trading one showcasing financial periods side by side, along with some data visualization. You also have a relatively simple dashboard in here, mostly to remind you that you can have dashboards on Excel as well. You have a cash flow statement, a trial balance, and so on. On another sample pack, which is the project report sample pack, you will have, for example, a project dashboard where you can manage, for example, multiple dashboards at the same time. You'll have, for example, a project report where you can toggle between your reports, between your project, I'm sorry, from here. You'll have a work in progress report, and you'll have the project forecast. This would basically be your template to push your project progression back to Acumatica. Now, let's say we want to start by building something relatively simple, okay? I can delete this. All right. So let's say, for example, we want to start by building a trial balance. One thing that I like to mention is that in most cases, this will be a one-time thing. So you'll simply have to build your reports the first time, and moving forward, it will either be simply using the refresh button to get access to the latest data from your ERP, or if you simply want to make minor changes to your reports. So to pull my accounts, I'm going to have to set up a connection with my ERP. With that, I'm going to use my connection manager. So I'll go forward. I already have my connection connected here, but I'll do it again just to show you how it looked like. So first thing first, it is going to prompt me to choose a name for my connection. Always try to keep this one short, as you're going to have to use it in the Velixo formulas. So in this instance, I've named it demo. Next, it is going to ask you to input your Acumatica URL, which you can simply copy paste from your login page. After that, it is going to ask you to pick which tenant you want to connect for now. In my demo instance here, you will see that I have multiple tenants. I am going to connect first my company tenant. Sorry. So I'll first connect company, and then I'll input my Acumatica credentials and click on connect. So as I connected first my company tenant, I think, see, come in, you can have multiple connections in here. I can go ahead and connect my other instances, such as, for example, Stand-Up IT, ACE, and so on. Now, to pull the account names, I'll simply use this little function here called insert chart of accounts. And it is going to pull my accounts from Acumatica. Now I need to pull the account names. I'm going to use one of the Velixo formulas. If I click on the drop-down list here and I go down, you will notice that we've added multiple Velixo group formulas. In this case, we are trying to build a trial balance. Then we're going to use the general ledger functions. I'm trying to pull the account names, so I'm going to use account name, pretty straightforward. If I click on help on this function, normally it would redirect you to the Microsoft support website, but if you do it on the Velixo formulas, it is going to redirect you to our own knowledge base, and you will be able to find help about the syntax, the parameters, and a couple of examples to help you understand a little bit more the function that you're currently using. So let's move forward with this one. Demo, and I want it to pull for these accounts. All right. And by the way, all of the reports that you're going to build with Velixo will basically be dynamic. It means they will show live information. So for example, if I go back into Acumatica and change the name of one of my accounts, and I come back to my workbook and refresh it, it is going to reflect right away. We've actually did the test in the past. We went ahead and changed the name of the second account to test2. And as soon as we refreshed it, it reflected here on our workbook. Now, to pull the balance, I'm going to need to add a few parameters, such as the ledger, for example. I could be refining by sub-account, branch, things like that, but just to keep this example short, I'm going to skip that for now, and I'll input a financial period. So to pull the balance, I'm going to use one of the 9 Velixo formulas, which is account ending balance. And I'll follow my coach's instruction in the window help here. So it's prompting me to enter my connection name, demo. Then I'm going to have to pick my ledger. I'll work with this one. I'm not working with account class for this example. I'm going to specify that I want it to pull for this account. I'm not using sub-account. I'm not using branch. And as of this financial period. All right. I'm simply going to format this to dollar to make it look like a trial balance. All right, so here we go. Now, let's say, for example, you want to compare two different ledgers. You can simply copy paste and toggle the actual ledger to your budget, for example. If you want to compare two different financial periods, you can do the same. But most importantly, what I want to show you is 3 techniques to kind of group your accounts. So let's say, for example, I want to pull this information for 3 specific accounts. Okay, I can simply copy my formula and paste it here and specify my accounts. Let's say, for example, I want to pull for 10,100, 10,150, and I can go even a little bit further, maybe 15,300. So now it is pulling the information for these three specific accounts, which is a list. I can do it by ranges. I can ask it to go from 10,100 up to 15,300, like this. And I can also use what we call here wildcards. So let's say, for example, I want to showcase for all of the accounts that start with 11. In this case, my accounts have 5 digits, so I'm going to have to complete that with question marks. You'll have the option to exclude as well, of course. So let's say, for example, you want all of them that start with 11, except from 11,500. Simply specify it. And now, a little typo. I'm sorry about that. So minus 11,500. All right, and it is going to remove the account's value from my figure right here. This is a pretty solid feature. You can use it with letters as well, not only with numbers. I'm actually going to show you how it looks like in our P&L right here. So again, this is a dynamic P&L where you can kind of toggle in between branches. If I click on it here, I can, for example, now it's showcasing the data for the Western branch. I can go ahead and I can showcase the consolidated basically P&L for all of my branches. And if I click on the little plus right here, you will see that we've used the wildcards with numbers here to pull the cost of goods sold. And we've actually used the list function to group these account classes right here, okay? So the next thing I want to show you now is how to pull GIs. So I'm quickly gonna go back to Acumatica and log in. All right, when I'm here, I can, for example, work with my account payables. I'll work with deals and adjustments. I am not going to customize anything on Acumatica, by the way. I am just trying to copy my inquiry title right here. Perfect. So now I can go back to my spreadsheet and pull this generic inquiry. So to pull a generic inquiry, I'm going to use GI for generic inquiry, prompting me to enter my connection name, which is demo. I'm just going to erase this. Now I'll have to input my generic inquiry name. It says name, even explains to me what needs to be inputted in this space. So here it is. Now I have all of my generic inquiry being pulled into Excel. If I go back actually on Acumatica and I click View Inquiry, and if we take the time to actually compare the header right here, if we actually take the columns, you're going to see that it's exactly the same columns that populate here. Not in the same exact order, but all of your columns are here. Now let's say it's a lot of information. I don't need all of these columns for my report. I can truncate my information a bit. Let's say I only want to keep, for example, my vendor, status, and currency. I can simply specify in my formula, and it is going to truncate to only showcase the essentials. Now it is showcasing the data for all of my vendors under all of the statuses, under all of the currencies. I can, of course, filter through that as well. Let's say, for example, I want my vendor to be equal to transit, and I want status to be open. I'll now set up a generic inquiry filter using GI for generic inquiry and filter. Okay. From now on, again, I'll follow my coach's steps. I'll input my connection name. I'll input my generic inquiry name, and now I'll start setting up my filter. I want vendor to be equal to wherever is in this cell, and I want status to be equal to whatever is in this cell. Now my filter is all set. Vendor equals transit and status equals open. I know the filter is, it's not looking so good that it's showing right here, but same as on the P&L here, you have the option of hiding your filters. So now if I go back into my initial function, you will notice that I left a blank space between the two commas right here. Let's see what our coach says about it. It says that it's the place for my filter. He even says that it's an optional parameter. Well, I have it now, so I'm going to input my filter in the right place and press enter. Now I'm able to filter into my generic inquiry. Let's see what happens if I play with the information. Maybe I want to show the closed transactions. Simply change it, and it is going to do so. A question that comes up quite often, are you able to have your transits, for example, in a drop-down list in here? Yes, you can toggle in between them. Same concept as what we've done here with the P&L. Next thing I want to show you is the drill down feature. And by the way, if you have any questions so far, please feel free to input them in the Q&A section, and we'll make sure to address that towards the end of the session. So let's say I want to know what is this number made of. I can simply click on that cell, then click on drill down, and what it's going to do, it is going to open a new Excel sheet listing all of the transactions involved in that number. Okay? Let's just give it a second here. Okay. So now I already have a better picture. I can see that, for example, this was insurance, this was an office expense, this was rent, this was a travel expense, for example. And if I want to dig even further, I can click on View Transactions here on the side, and it is going to redirect me to the source transaction page in Acumatica. So here, in the account details, I have already a better picture. I can see that it was a night at the Hilton. I can check my ending balance, the amount, things like that. And if I want to dig even further, I can click on reference number right here. It is going to open this new page. And here on the left, if I click on the attachment, I will be able to open the actual invoice related to this transaction right here. So next thing I want to tell you about is the distribution feature. So once you've done your magic on your reports, everything's ready. Now it's time to share them with your people. You can share them either internally or externally. Simply click on New List right here up top, and it is going to populate this exact same template. So from this template, you will be able to save and share your documents without needing to go on File, Save As, choose the folder path, things like that, and then you'll have to share them. So you can choose the format from here. You can either share it as an Excel. You can choose to remove the Velixo formulas. You can choose to remove all of the formulas, including the Excel ones, or you can simply choose to share it as a PDF. On this column right here, you will have to name your file. And on the tab selection column, basically in here, you will have to select those reports or those Excel sheets that you want to share with this specific person. In the folder path column, if you guys are using any sorts of cloud saving solution, such as OneDrive, SharePoint, wherever it may be, you can simply input the folder path in here, and it is going to save it in that space. And in here, relatively simple, input the email contact, the email subject, email buddy, and you're good to go. Question that comes up quite often, are you able to automate this task? For example, if you're sending reports on a recurring basis, yes, you can using Task Scheduling Manager. So once it's all done, I can simply click on Distribute All, and it is going to start the distribution process or desaving to the right spaces here. I'm going to open my Outlook quickly just to show you guys how it looks like. All right. So my emails are now in my drafts. I can see that, for example, my CEO received the consolidated report under an Excel format. My CEO's email is already inputted. My email subject is already inputted. The email bodies already inputted as well. I mean, from this point, the only thing that's left to do is press the send button, and it's the same thing for the other people on my team. Okay. If I go back to the actual template, you will see that I've chose to keep it as save to draft. I could have had it on save immediately. Um, if I had it on send immediately, as soon as I click on distribute all here up top, it wouldn't even prompt me to come double check my emails and press the send button. So this is it for the distribution feature. If you have any questions, please input them in the Q&A section. Now I'm going to tell you about the writebacks. So there are four different types of writebacks: journal writebacks, budget writebacks, project writebacks, and generic inquiry writeback. So for the journal writebacks, same concept as for the distribution list. If you click on it, it is going to populate a template that could be customized based on your needs. Actually, here's one to customize for one of our customers. So they had a couple of GL entries that they needed to push back on a recurring basis to Acumatica, and the calculation was done based on a GL rate here in Excel. So let's say, for example, the rate is not 3.9, it's not 3.1, 3.9. I'll simply change that. My figures will change in my GL entries. Everything's good. I can now perform the write back by clicking on the button right here. So I'll confirm I want to push these lines back to Acumatica. Okay, 6 journal entries were processed. It is now going to open my journal transaction page in Acumatica, prompting me to double check my figures. So here are my 6 journal entries. I can double check my figures. If everything makes sense, I can now remove the hold and release. As soon as I release, this will be saved to Acumatica. If I go back here on my template, you will see automatically release. As a best practice, we suggest you keep it as a no, but if you put it as a yes, as soon as you click on perform write back, it is going to save those new figures into Acumatica without prompting you to remove the hold and release. Next one would be the budget write back. Same concept. Populate a template or populate that could be customized based on your needs. Here's one that we've built for one of our customers. I know this is pretty much all filled out, but by any means, you'll only have to fill out the appropriate fields that you want to push back to Acumatica and perform the write back, and you should be good to go. Next one would be the project write back. Here's the project write back template. Basically, this will allow you to push your project progression back to Acumatica. This could be also customized based on your needs to kind of match whatever you have in your ERP. And lastly, I want to tell you about the generic writeback. So for the generic writeback, you will need to create import scenarios. For example, earlier we were working with bills and adjustments, so we pulled bills and adjustments. We can also pull data for bills and adjustments. You can do it for pretty much everything, for bill and material, payment applications. You can do it for your customer contracts. You could do it, I don't know, maybe for some payroll settings, pretty much any other module you have in Acumatica. So if I click on the bills and adjustments and create generic writeback worksheet, it is now going to populate my writeback template that actually matches exactly what I have back in Acumatica. Again, I'll only have to fill out the appropriate cells and click on perform writeback. If you're curious about this import scenario thing, you can type on your search bar import scenarios. And from this page, you will be able to consult your already built import scenarios. If you don't have any, or if you're looking to add one, you can simply add the little plus button in here in your record. And from here, you will be able to start setting up a new import scenario with the mapping and everything. And if you're unsure about this process, the CLA team can absolutely assist you with that. So with that being said, I'm done with the presentation. So I'm simply gonna stop screen sharing for a minute just to take a look basically at your questions.
You must have covered everything everybody wanted to know. We have no questions in the queue. That's like
Okay,
perfect presentation.
great. Love to hear it. Love to hear it.
We'll
I mean,
give people a
I
minute.
tried to
Maybe
go
they're
over.
just processing and thinking about everything. So
I know it can be a lot of information, but if there's anything maybe that you guys wanted to see that I did not show you, please feel free to ask. I know this is a pretty basic demo. The idea is to show you how the tool works, to inspire you to kind of think about use cases. And if anything, okay, I see we have a question here. Can you give an overview of the pre-built templates? Yes, of course. So I am going to share my screen again. So for the pre-built templates, you can find the files on our website. Actually, let me show you where. Okay. When you're on our website, you can simply go into support and resources. From here, you choose Help Center, Acumatica, Report Templates. And in here, you will have samples, demo, templates. I'll go for demo because it's the files that I'm using right now. So in here, you have, for example, oh, it's already open actually. Shh. You will have a quick recap on the website of the reports. And here are the files that already downloaded from here that I opened for the sake of this demo. So here's a kind of general P&L that showcases the consolidated P&L, and you can also toggle between having P&L specific for every single one of your branches. You have a consolidated one showcasing branches side by side. You have a trailing one comparing different financial periods. You have a profit dashboard showcasing the sales per section, per financial period. You have here your sales by rep, your cumulative sales by month. You have a cash flow statement. You have a trial balance, a P&L by week. And from here, it's basically your write back templates. On the other one, the project report sample, you have the project dashboard. From here, basically, you can kind of monitor multiple projects at the same time. You have a project report where you can kind of focus on one report at a time, where you can manage your cost codes, your budget, and do some forecasting for the upcoming tasks. You have a work in progress report right here. And here's your write back template. So basically, this is to push the project progression to Acumatica, and again, could be customized based off your needs. If there's anything related to specific templates that you're looking to see, you can let me know about it and I'll make sure to move into that direction. I'll just stop sharing again so I can have access to the Q&A section.
thank you. I was looking through that web page you showed, and there's a lot of helpful resources out there also.
Absolutely,
Videos
good
and
point.
documents.
Good. That's a very good point, actually, Jen. You'll even find articles that are kind of built toward specific topics. Let's say, for example, you're dealing with multi-organizations or multi-entities, and you have to do some elimination, conciliation, or you got to deal with multi-currency. Then we have an article for that. If you want to work with GIs, then we have articles and videos built that way. I actually encourage you to take a quick tour on our YouTube channel. You'll be able to find many insights about the tools and how you can use it. And take a look at our knowledge base as well. It's really resourceful.
Great, thank you. I don't see any more questions coming in, but oh, there's one. If you do
Interesting.
have more, we can.
Yep. Can you clarify, does this software pull data from GIs only or from any data class field that is available in Acumatica? It does not pull from GIs only. It will be able to pull any data from any class or field you have in Acumatica. So basically, you can pull financial data. I'm thinking about the general ledgers, budgets, things like that. You can pull things about project accounting. And of course, you can pull any other generic inquiry you have in Acumatica. Could be account payables, receivable, payroll, pretty much everything.
Great.
Any other questions? That's looking good right now. We're getting we're heating up.
All right. And as I was saying, if there's questions afterwards, feel free to contact Cal. We can contact Hamza, and we'll make sure that we get those questions answered. So I've seen a lot
Absolutely.
of businesses use Velixo, and everyone says they love it. I've never heard anything bad.
Absolutely. That's perfect. So we'll give it a 30 seconds here to see if we have any other questions.
All
If
right.
not, again, as Jen mentioned, feel free to reach out to Call Business Solution. They already have quite a few customers using Velixo. And yep, we'll make sure to answer any questions you have. If you need to see a demo kind of tailored to your use case, we'll be more than happy to arrange that as well.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good day. Bye-bye.